Good morning and welcome to the most recent episode of the Bearded Tyke. Again, I'm joined by Ant again. Thanks for joining me again, pal.
No, morning, Ryan. All right, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, pal. So we're gonna be covering off the 1-1 draw away at Wigan yesterday. I want to touch on the departure of Jake Rooney back to Derby as well, and then we'll move on to the preview of the upcoming game on Sunday with Port Vale. So, Ant, Wigan away yesterday. Let's start with the lineup because
Yeah.
it was interesting, to say
Again.
the least, and also what was clearly some sort of formation change. What do you make of the lineup, pal, to start with?
Well, I mean, it seems what we've talked about last few weeks in the midfield and if you take Bland away, Connell don't perform as well. And in that first half, we had Adam Phillips sitting a little deeper with Connell, and it didn't work. There was no balance to the team again. I was glad Watson were playing. Dijavinier and Shepherd together was quite a success, I thought, yesterday. They didn't really look particularly in danger. Whenever Wigan did have any pressure, it wasn't particularly because of their errors. That's something to build on, I think. Josh Hill was okay at left back as well, I thought, even though he's still not a left back. He didn't do anything particularly wrong. I just thought, on paper, it looked like a good side. I thought, I'm quite interested to see how this works, but the same problems just crept in as the half went along. Obviously, we had McGoldrick in, which were a surprise yesterday, and Jarlo. So he's obviously shuffled the pack a lot there. Some things worked, some things didn't. I don't think Jarlo's anywhere near fit at the moment. He was struggling for pace, which is something I wouldn't have thought Fabio would be. But I thought there were some good points and bad points, but the performance was terrible. It was flat and nothing much of any note going forward at all, apart from the one chance that McGoldrick missed when he went clean through, which was a nice bit of football. But yeah, the team selection I thought was okay, but didn't work.
Yeah, agreed. I think obviously with the congestion of fixtures that we've had over the Christmas period, they've been coming thick and fast, and they're going to be coming really thick and fast February and March when we've got the 4 games that we need to catch back up as well. So there's still going to be a lot of Saturday Tuesdays in there, but also a lot more Saturday Tuesdays for Barnsley because of the games that we need to catch up with. So that's a bit of a worrying thing, considering how the congestion of fixtures over the Christmas period has caused drop off in performances with usually, really good sort of solid players. Yeah, but a strange one. Listen, the lads are getting tired and things like that, so I can see the reason why he's brought people in. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. When Blandy's not alongside Connell, it just looks terrible in midfield.
It doesn't work.
No.
No other combination works at this moment in time.
Yeah.
That's concerning. And now, and obviously we'll talk about Luca later, but now we've got a problem where he's not available.
Yeah, we've got a big problem, mate. We will touch on that because I thought it was just ridiculous. But anyway, we'll get to that, mate. So I don't know what he was trying to do in the first half. I mean, there's been a lot. I think he's in a position, Connor, where he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. There's fans online screaming that he hasn't got a plan B, or he's not changing it, or he's not looking at when it's not going right. So he's changed it to sort of like what looked like a 3-5-2 in the first half. But it was difficult to try and work out really what we're having. But it's he's tried to make it the changes, and it hasn't worked in the first half. I have to say that first half performance was definitely the worst I've seen this season. We were horrendous in that first half. It was flat. There were just so many mistakes, and I couldn't believe right from the kickoff. And we were missing passes. We were missing tackles, and by the time they scored just after the 5th minute, there'd been 7 mistakes, either passing mistakes or giving the ball away. And it was actually quite uncharacteristically of Patrick Kelly giving the ball away, which led to their chance and their goal, which is a very good finish, actually, to be fair. Maybe it were an eye foot, maybe Disney could have got his head to it, but it's actually a really good volley and a good finish. But but other than like you touched on, and other than the McGoldrick chance, which he should have tucked away. That's just when you 1-0 down away from home, struggling for form. We're going into that game with 3 losses on bounce. You smash them. You wrap your foot around it, you drill it into the bottom corner. You don't try and fairy tap it and be clever past it. We're not 4-0 up. You know what I
No.
mean? There's no need to be clever there. Especially with Wigan that have only conceded 7 in 10 games at home and now 8 in 11.
Yeah.
It's they don't concede many at home. You've got to so obviously they don't concede many chances. So you've got to tuck those away. But the first half was just horrendous, pal. So
Yeah.
moving into the second half, then Connor made the changes that he needed to he needed to make, and he made the changes to the formation. So what's your thoughts on the second half and the changes that Connor made?
Well, I mean, some players benefited a lot from the changes. Adam Phillips, for one, who was actually put back into his proper position, which is that attacking right, just touch the right side, attacking midfield position. Lo and behold, he scored and looked dangerous all second half. I mean, you put him in a defensive midfield situation, it's just stifling. It's stifling the guy. His stats wise, he should be the first name on that team sheet on that right side of midfield attacking. He shouldn't be anywhere near our back four. Let's be honest. Look at the finish. I mean,
Yes,
it's
right.
clinical. It's
Yeah,
clinical, and you need players like that up the pitch. So he benefited really well. Obviously, I thought Bland did very well when he came on as well.
yeah,
The whole vibe just picked up. The pace of the game, tempo. They looked like they wanted it. You could tell that Connor had stuck a rocket up their ass at half time, which has been documented by the interviews.
yeah,
I like to hear that. I don't like to hear, tippy tap. Well, let's say conservative interviews about how that first half's gone. I get him a bollocking, and this is what happened, and I enjoyed that. I ain't going to pull him with second half performance. We should be beating Wigan. Let's put it absolutely bluntly. To get where we need to be, we should be beating Wigan. But from where we are in the context of the Christmas period, I didn't have a problem with that second half at all. I could see some desire. I thought taking Kelly off were brave, but it actually worked on this occasion.
yeah.
Um, so I were quite impressed with changes, and Connor has been called out a lot for his decision making, and I thought yesterday were pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed, mate. He had a plan B yesterday.
He did have a plan B yesterday,
He had a
which is
plan
a
B.
first.
And I think it was brave taking Kelly off, but Kelly looked knackered. He looked tired. Did Kelly? I think it was the right decision to take him out, bringing Bland back in. Then I thought, like I said, I thought Bland was excellent. And if anything's been proved, like you just touched on, Adam Phillips needs to be further up the field. He needs to be in either that 10 role, or he needs to be on that right side, whichever it is. Adam Phillips is a numbers machine. He's been a numbers machine with goals and assists every season that he's played for us. So it makes sense, and that's where he's at his best. And that finish, like you say, is clinical. First time, it's a good bit of work by Luke Connell winning the ball back, plays it into McGoldrick. McGoldrick wears it off, waits perfectly, rolls it into his path, and it's an absolute thunderbolt of a finish. And I thought we were really good for it as well. I thought we were good for the equaliser. I thought we come out and played really well in the second half.
Yeah,
I've been quite critical of us of late, but I've also been positive when we are good. And I thought that in the second half, after such a drab first half, it could have been easy just to let his heads go down and go and lose 2 or 3-0, which we didn't. Connor made the necessary changes, realised what he'd done hadn't worked, and made the necessary changes, and we went out and got the draw.
well, I were expecting a limp defeat.
Yeah,
I said at half time to my lad, this is going to finish 1-0 because I could see Wigan just sitting there, and the way we were playing, I just couldn't see a way forward.
yeah,
I could not see a way we were going to break that team down by doing what we were doing. So, all fair play. Oh, I enjoyed that second half to an extent. You know, there's life in the old dog yet, or is there? I don't know, but we'll see. But I thought, it's giving us something to build on for Sunday now, anyway, which is obviously really important. And I think if Luca had stayed on field, we'd have probably won that. Just a word for Reyes Cleary, by the way. As soon as he came on, I mean, the obviously tactic was ping it to Reyes, and he were finding gaps all over the place.
yeah,
The panic online when he didn't start is absolutely justified because he's head and shoulders the key player in this team, head
yeah,
and shoulders. And if he goes, I do wonder what will happen this season. I really, really do, because he changed that game. Really,
Yeah, he did, mate. He did.
he
But
changed
it's
it.
not. It's not only his ability, where I mean, some of the touches he gave from the long balls, the first time touches, to bring it under control, are just magic. But he'll terrify defenses. And he takes defenders with him as well to create space for others. As well as his ability to take players on and get the balls into the box and and get his shots off that he does. He also takes players with him because he's so dangerous and creates space for others. So I think he's critical. And like you say, if he goes, mate, that is a worry because we look absolutely toothless without him.
Well, I mean, yesterday we're going to defending basically on the halfway line because we've got nothing. Second half, the 10 yards outside the box defending all half. That's the difference he gives you. He gets you up the pitch, you know, and end product as well. Some of the crosses we're putting in. If we had a number 9, Ryan, would have been in front very, very quickly. And some of the left foot crosses were whipping across. Beautiful balls in.
Yeah,
No target, man.
yeah,
But again,
true.
we might talk about that as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully we're gonna rectify that in the coming however long it takes to bring someone in. Probably
As
30
soon
days.
as possible.
It
Please,
needs it
Barnsley,
needs,
come
it needs,
on.
it needs to be as soon as possible because I tell you what, the upcoming fans forum, which I'm going to try and get tickets for, at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
if
not a
they've
great
not, if
time,
they've
though, is
not,
it? Let's be honest.
no, but if they've not signed anybody by 13th of January, I mean, it's not gonna be the friendliest of meetings, I would have thought. But if they've not signed anyone by that point, it could be really toxic. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes on. But anyway, yeah, like you said, we definitely need a target man. There were an example, for example, when DKD went on that one the run, he pulled it to byline, pulled it back. Nobody there, man.
No,
Pulled it
no.
back, and that would have tap in. Keeper had gone with him. He's pulled it back, goes wide open, nobody there. And it is that thing, isn't it? Where we've been crying out for it all season. DKD's been playing at the number 9, and he's done. I mean, look, he's a goals machine, isn't he? But he isn't the number 9. He just isn't.
No.
I think he'd still score that many goals from the 10. But so it'll be interesting to see what happens there, pal. But I think the thing that really disappointed me about the second half was the sending off of Luke Connell, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's really, really poor. He's the club captain, and he's not been sent off with a challenge. Whether with a last ditch challenge or he's gone in too rash and caught him, or trying to do maybe the lad's through and you've done a professional foul. It's none of that. Those things again, probably you'd be disappointed with, but you could maybe understand them. But to lash out, so petulantly at a player that's pulled you down to the floor. He shouldn't have pulled him down to the floor. There were people online saying he should have got his red card. I'm like, what for? He's pulled him down to the floor. They've had a bit of a wrestle. They could have both got maybe a yellow card at best. But he's booted him with 2 feet in the chest. And it's just a stupid act of petulance that's not only cost him, that's cost us an opportunity to go and win the game. Whether we would or not, so bad, but we definitely were once he'd gone. But also we're going to miss him for 2 really important league games with Port Vale, where
Yeah.
we need to pick up points. We're going to touch on later, and obviously Blackpool have had a bit of a resurgence aside from the spanking they got from Port Vale. Yes,
Oddly enough, yeah.
they've been on a bit of a resurgence, and they're very much in and around us. So we need to be taking points from those people, and to be without one of your pivots and without your captain is really disappointing. And from a personal standpoint for Luca, he's now going to miss the Liverpool FA Cup game, which is an Everton fan having an opportunity to go and play in front of a packed Anfield crowd and maybe do something special. He's going to miss that opportunity now. So he's got to be devastated with himself. What's your thoughts on the red card, mate?
It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you see that kind of thing I'm not going to do the 6-7 thing, but you see it 6-7 times a game, right?
Yeah.
Where there's a little tussle and they'll just put their arms out, they'll lay down, they'll go limp, and the referee removes it on. Why he's bit like that, I've got absolutely no idea. For me, Luke Connell shouldn't be a captain anyway. He's never been a captain. He's not vocal enough. He's basically captain on length of service, I think, at this point.
Right.
Um, don't get me wrong. Yeah, in the Duff season, I loved him. Absolutely loved Luke Connell. He's been on a decline since then for various reasons. And there's certain things cropped up recently where I just think he shouldn't have that armband. Like against Mansfield, for example, when the capitulation happened, he just absolutely dissolved I was watching him to see because you need your spine in performances like that.
Yeah,
And I thought, let's see who's going to drag us back and get us a result out of this game. And he just dissolved. And I don't think he should be captain. But having said that, I don't see who else should be. And this is the problem. And I suppose I saw your video with Luke Goddard and about leaders.
yeah,
And we don't have leaders at all.
that's true, mate.
Or we do have leaders, but they're not going to play every game, or they're probably past the best.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean,
but
the
it's just a
obvious one.
suicidal decision, mate. And I don't give a toss about Liverpool game, if I'm honest. I couldn't give a monkeys about that match. All I care about is Sunday and the Blackpool game
Of
because
course. Yeah,
we're in a battle at the minute. We're in a big battle.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's that's what I'm most disappointed is that we're going to be without him for those games now, and it's going to be interesting to see what Connor does with regards to the formation for those games. I was just more talking about a personal standpoint for him. He's going to be devastated that he's not playing at Anfield. It's such an those opportunities maybe come once, twice a career, and he's with his own silly actions, he's cost himself that, but more he's cost his teammates, the club, and the fans. It really has cost him because we're going to now be with him for two really important league games coming up. So really
I mean, I
disappointing.
do feel for him on a personal level. I'm not like,
Yeah,
I do understand that obviously going to Liverpool for him would probably be slightly bigger than some other lads. But you know, you've got to accept your consequences sometimes in life,
yeah,
and this is one of them times, unfortunately. Maybe he'll not do it again now, but
yeah.
we'll see.
I'm sure he'll be gutted, but it's a
It's not like he's got
hard decision.
previous though, is it? Either. Do you know what I mean? He's never really done things like this before, has he? So it's just one of them things, maybe. But it's all a bit unfortunate.
Yeah. What I will say is, mate, I thought that Murphy Cooper was excellent yesterday.
Yeah,
He made some fantastic saves. I know I think a lot of people have been a bit critical of him lately.
yeah,
But he made some fantastic saves yesterday. He really dug into that ability to be a great shot stopper, and he really kept us in it because arguably we could have gone in at 3-0 at half time. Probably deserved to go in at 3-0. He made a fantastic save, a double save.
double save. Yeah,
He made that fantastic double save, but that should have been 2-0. But he also made a full stretch save towards the back end of the half and tipped it round the post. So
yeah,
and then again at 1-1 when they've had that opportunity, and the guy gets a good strike on it, but he also takes a deflection, and Murphy manages to get his hand across and tip it over the bar at full stretch. So I think a fully deserved man of the match performance because he kept us in it.
yeah.
So I just want to tip my cap to Murphy Cook because I thought he was
Yeah,
excellent. Yeah,
I'd agree, mate. I'm not a big fan. I've openly said online that I don't think he's the right keeper at the right time. But yeah, yesterday he kept it game and fully deserved that man at match. And I'll play all my hand up and say that I ain't got a problem with the kid. But I just think yesterday he really did keep that score down when it needed to be kept down. So fair play to lad. Well done,
yeah.
lad.
Absolutely. So I think to summarise for me, mate, it's definitely a game of two halves. Ryan Lortz has said that after in his interview with for Wigan, and he just said, yeah, it was the proverbial game of two halves. We were excellent the first half, Barnsley dominated the second half, and I think a draw is the fair result, and I think we stopped the rot. We needed 3 points, but it was more important to if you can't win the game, make sure you don't lose it. And we've been, during the season, I think we've fallen short of that. So it was good to see us come away with a point, and I think anyway, point away from home is a good point. So we move on. Before we go on to the Port Vale game, though, some news coming out last night. A 7 o'clock press release by Barnsley that Jake Rooney has been returned to his parent club, Derby County. So, what's your thoughts on that, Ant?
Well, good, obviously, because it's a waste of a slot there. And I'm sure we're all now thinking that maybe somebody might be in by weekend because this has happened so quickly.
Yeah,
Um, that would a bad loan. It would have sticking plaster to put over things by Connor. I think he just had no choices, and I think he must have called a mate in for a favour to get a body of it line in summer. But no, I'm glad he's gone. It's a strange loan after recommendations from Derby fans saying that he were very good. We've seen absolutely nothing, have we? Which is very strange. But yeah, like I said, it opens a slot up. Hopefully, get somebody in now for the weekend or as soon as possible.
yeah.
Good news for me, mate. I'll put
Yeah,
that.
same for me, mate. I think it's good. I think it's good for Jake as well himself. He's come here to
Yeah,
try and get an opportunity to get some game time. But Whether he's going to be good or not, I'm not so sure because we didn't see quite enough of him, and when we did see him, it wasn't probably at his best. I think it's very difficult for a young lad to come in that's coming into a club playing at League One level football when he's not got loads of first team experience to be able to come in and play a bit part and be expected to be good anyway. And could just come in and just hit the ground running. So it's I think it's definitely best for definitely for us to free up a wage, to free up a slot within the squad. And to get somebody better in there, and it's probably better for Jake to go back and maybe go to a lower team or
Well,
pick
I
up.
do wonder about that because obviously the lower down the pyramid you go, the more physical it gets, and he's not a very physical player at all. So
Yeah,
I do wonder what's next for him, and I'll keep an eye on that because I'm interested.
yeah,
But good luck to lad.
yeah. Good luck to the lad. It's not worked out for him, so it's the right thing for both parties. So we move on. But hopefully, like you said, that means we've got a defender coming in the very near future. Fingers
Please,
crossed.
please.
Yeah. So we come up to Port Vale on Sunday, mate.
Yes.
Hopefully, like I say, hopefully we get that extra defender in because it's really worrying to hear from Connor. And as you saw the lineup, we've got no defenders on the bench. So we
No.
are literally on the bare bones at the moment. You're probably going to see a very similar back four, I would imagine. I can't see anything changing from that back four.
No.
It's interesting to see what he's going to do with regards to missing Luke Connell in that centre defensive midfield role. For me, I don't know whether he will do that. I think the obvious thing that Connor will do is just put Adam Phillips in there next to Blandy. But for me, and I mentioned this last night, so I went on Red Hello last night, and I think that for me, I'd like to see this in its entirety, is to just have one pivot and then put Kelly and Adam Phillips just further forward.
Like we did under
In
Duff, really, because we
Yeah,
had
in
one
attacking
under
midfield
Duff,
role.
and
Yeah, exactly. Do it with the two attacking midfielders, because then then you don't have to decide between Kelly or Phillips. And
yeah,
like we touched on earlier, mate, Adam Phillips is not a centre defensive midfielder. It doesn't mean he can't do a job there, but he's not the best at it. But what he's very, very good at is being an attacking midfielder. Like he's a numbers machine, like we touched on earlier. So I think it might be a case of needs must, and he probably will go into that CDM role, knowing Connor and his can be quite rigid with how he wants to set up. But for me, I'd put Blandy in as a pivot and put Kelly and Adam Phillips a bit further up and see how that goes against Port Vale.
yeah, because
What's your
under Duff we did that. We had Connell in, we had Kane in that left midfield spot, and Phillips was brilliant in the right centre mid spot.
Yeah,
Kelly can do what Kane did, no problem. So why can't we just do that? I don't know. I certainly won't put Yoga Nathan deep, even though when he did play against, what game was it? Was it Lincoln? But he did all right for a bit, and then he had a knock. He's not the answer. He's not defensively aware. Looks like
no,
Russell's gone missing now, so I don't think he's going to be an option. Was he on bench yesterday, Russell? He wasn't, was he?
don't know, mate. If I'm
I
honest,
don't think he
I
was.
don't think
So
so, mate.
I'm thinking he's going to be gone in next few days. Um, no, I would do what you said, 100%, but I don't think he will. I think he'll start, like I
No,
said, with Phillips there, and he'll alter it as he goes if he needs to. But that's a mistake in my eyes.
yeah, I think so as well. But if he does stick someone aside of Blandy, it needs to be somebody with experience. I wouldn't stick Vimal and Blandy there because that's too much inexperience
No,
in that area there. So as disappointed it may be with Adam Phillips not being in the position where he should be to really affect the game more, if he is going to play the two pivot role, two centre defensive midfielders, I would rather have somebody with experience like Adam Phillips alongside Blandy. It's not ideal, but it kind of is what it is.
he's just not very good at it, though, is he? Right, and that's the problem.
No, he's not, and I
He's
think
not.
playing the one pivot and the two attacking midfielders they can affect the game a little bit more during this period while Luke Collins out. That's how I feel.
I mean, yesterday we ended up in right wing back.
Yeah.
Because of this inverted thing that was happening again.
Mm.
No, not for me. Not for me. Back to it should be basic, simple stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty set formation. Let the guys work within that formation.
Yeah.
Get the best out of them. There's no need to tinker. There's no need to do complicated things in a game like Port Vale away. We need to stand up. We need to be strong. We need to be rigid. We need to win battles, 50-50s. In first half, we weren't winning any 50-50s. We need square peg, square holes. Really, really do. I
Yeah.
mean, all right, we're stuck with Earl there at left back, but he can do a job there. He can. Yesterday was an example of that. Um,
Well, it looked a lot better, Ant, when he went to left back. When we
we
went
looked
to back
better.
four in the second half, he looked a lot
We
better
did.
playing left
We
wing
did.
back.
We
Yeah.
did. Yeah. So
So, I mean, what's your thoughts on keeping Didsy in the team? Because personally, I thought certainly in the second half, I thought he played really well. And you know, whether it's a coincidence or not, but when we were doing really well at the start of the season, Didsy was starting all the games, or pretty much all the games.
yeah.
Um, whether it's that extra experienced head in there that can pull the lads into line as well when they're on the field. But you know, I thought he played really well in the second half, and he offered a lot. So, what's your thoughts on keeping him in the team, mate?
Yeah, I thought he did well yesterday. I mean, I thought his legs had gone, if I'm honest, after what I've seen recently, but it proved yesterday that that's not the case. When he ran through for his chance in the first half, showed some good pace, to be fair.
Yeah,
Held the man off, brought people into play really well second half. It's a question of fitness now, because obviously it's a quick turnaround from one game to the next one, and he is 38. Um, if he's good to go, I'd play him, especially considering that Connell's not going to play, so Phillips will probably be deeper. So yeah, Didzy can play there for me, no problem. If he can do what he did yesterday consistently, of
yeah,
course, yeah, no problem. I've got no problem with him being in that team, and he's a goal threat. Um, it's just a fitness issue and whether he can actually physically do that. Maybe play him for an hour and then take him off. I don't know.
yeah.
Do that.
Interesting, mate. So, coming to that, then, mate. Score predictions for Port Vale.
Well, they've won 5-1 yesterday. Is that right?
Yes, mate. But what I will say, listen, it's a great victory. It's a great victory, especially when you're on a run of, I think it was 12 games without a win.
Yeah.
For Port Vale. Ironically, it was against us.
Obviously, you mean not ironic, but
Against us away when they beat us 2-0 at Oakwell.
yeah,
That's in the league, obviously. Not. I'm not talking about the cup games.
yeah.
I mean, they've beaten us twice this season, and you know, there's an aggregate score of 7-0. One of them was just cup games. So
I don't count piece of cup games.
I'm not too bothered about. I'm not too bothered about that. But they did beat us 2-0 at Oakwell.
Yeah.
They've not scored a lot of goals. They're the lowest scoring team in the league. I think they're only on 18 goals now, and that was prior to that's after the 5 goals that they scored yesterday. So it's if ever there was an opportunity to get a clean sheet, it's this one. Whether we will or
You've
not.
said it now, haven't you?
Listen, I've not predicted us to have a clean sheet all season because of our defence.
No,
All season we will concede. But I'm going to go personally with a 2-0 win to Barnsley. I may end up with egg on my face because of that decision, but you know, it is what it is. I think there's never an opportunity to get one. I think Port Vale is one with their current league form. So what's your thoughts, mate? What's your predictions for Sunday?
I'd like to be as optimistic as you on the clean sheets thing. I did see some nice things between Shepard and Dijavinier yesterday, so I think we're in a decent spot. But I still think everybody predicted 1-1 for Wigan, didn't they? And I can just see this being 1-1 again. I don't know why. I can see us going in front and then being pegged back. I'm going to go 1-1.
Cheers, Bob. Right, okay. So we've got a 1-1 and we've got a 2-0. Let's see how that turns out. So thanks for joining me again, Ant. Really appreciate you coming on, mate, and taking your time to come on with me. So everybody else, if you could like, share, and subscribe. What I will say is we're starting to get a lot more views now, and the comments are brilliant. I really enjoy the interaction, guys. I'll try to get back to you as much as I can. But if I can just ask you if you like the video, just to like it, and if you could start with a subscription, because it really helps me sort of bump me up the algorithms and things like that. So yeah, if you'd like to comment below, how you think we're going to get on. Let us know how you feel about the performance yesterday away at Wigan, and how you think we're going to crack on tomorrow with Port Vale. So thanks for joining us, everybody. I'll see you after. Ta-da.